Yo, what is going on, everybody? So, welcome back to a brand new episode of the Sports Talk podcast with Robert and Tyler. My buddy Tyler is running a little bit late, so yeah. So, apologize, little apologies for that. So pretty much I had to kind of take care of a few things. But yeah, I mean, so far, man, we have a lot to talk. We have a lot to talk about today. We really do. Um, but yeah, Nightings, what is good? What's good, my guy? What is good? Yo, Benjamin, what is good? What is good? Yeah, what is good, everybody? So, let me get that off the screen real quick. But yeah, so obviously we have a lot to talk about today. So far, I mean, we're gonna be like spend like a little bit over an hour for this. But yeah, it's something kind of something that's another thing too. Like, just go. But yeah, man, it's crazy too. Like the fact that we're over 220 subs already. But yeah, I can't wait to see that 90s. I really can't. I cannot wait. But yeah, so pretty much. So obviously, like me and my buddy Tyler, what we usually do is we go over. Um, so far, we have to go to obviously go to the no, later. Let me share my screen with you guys. Just bear with me here. So, oh yeah, but yeah, so far, I mean, let me get over here. Okay, so obviously we're gonna go over week 13. Yeah, so pretty much for week 13. Um, but yeah, so like this is what we usually do at the start of almost every show is go over like the different obviously with the weeks that each team plays, that kind of thing. But yeah, so let's get this started, shall we? Um, but before we go any further, if you like, make sure if you like the stream, make sure you like the stream up. Share this out to a lot of people. Share this out. Share the stream out. If you're new to the channel, click that sub button down below on the way to 230 subs. I mean, but yeah. With that being said, let's kind of get right into it so far. Right now, obviously with week 13 coming up, this coming Sunday for a lot of teams. But yeah, so we're going to have to go with the 4-7 Giants against the 5-7 Dolphins. I'm going to take the Dolphins on this one because, and the thing about it this too is like Daniel Jones is now going to be out with the next strain. So I mean, kind of sucks to be a Giants fan, but not really. But with all bias aside, Daniel Jones is out with a strain. Oh yeah, man, Ben, because he's already, yeah, man. But yeah, I mean, the Dolphins have been playing well recently. I mean, but yeah. So I mean, okay. So like I said, I'm going to have to go over the the Dolphins is going to beat the Giants Sunday at 1 o'clock against well, obviously with the Giants being on the road at 4-7. So, but yeah, it's something. Oh, right. So we got now we got the 6-6 Colts and the 2-9 Texans. So I mean, yeah. So yeah, it's just gonna be a shitty game. But yeah, so my good friend just texted me, so just bear with us for just a moment. So kind of maybe a good London game, maybe. Yo, EU, what is good, my guy? What is good? What's good? What's good? What's good? Um, but yeah, yeah. So far, right now, my buddy Tyler's going to get on, so we can go over this week. Yes, sir. Yeah, trust me, Nightings. Hey, look, me, I'm already on the road to 230, so I mean, Speak of the devil. Look what we got. Look who we got.
Yep, I'm here.
Oh, but yeah, so far, like we usually do, obviously go NFL Week 13. So far, the first game we got is the Giants and the Dolphins.
Giants.
I'm going to go with Dolphins because obviously, because I feel like the Dolphins have been playing well in like recently. So, plus, I mean, you got Daniel Jones already out with the neck strain, so I mean, it's kind of.
Yeah,
I don't
true.
think that's going to bode well for the Giants. I think this is you and I are pretty much going to go agree with this one. Is the Colts and the Texans? I mean, Colts by far. Obviously, man, Colts have been playing well. You know, obviously, still. I mean, I kind of like a little bit of a losing skip, but they got some good players on that team. You know, Jonathan Taylor's still becoming. It's just Jonathan Taylor is just a monster with this team with the Colts. It's just I think this. I feel like it's going to be like a blowout game with the Colts.
All right. I'll be back, bro.
I got you. Yeah. So let's get him real quick. Oh, sorry about that, guys. He's gonna. Oh, there we go. Oh, that was quick.
No, unmute me, man.
Oh, I did. You're unmuted.
Oh, okay. I'm just turning off my camera.
Okay. Yeah, so
we can still talk.
Yeah, I got you. We got the 5-6 Vikings against the 0-10-1 Detroit Lions. What? But the only tie going to Pittsburgh. I think Vikings are pretty much going to give the Lions, and I don't think it's going to be a blowout because I kind of feel like basically. But yeah, like I said before I lost my train of thought. Obviously, with the Lions being the shitty team that they are, that they're 0-10-1, I think they're going to be involved in the game. But I don't feel like it's not going to be that much of a blowout between them and the Vikings. So I mean,
right.
I think Vikings are going to take this. And then
I think the Vikings are too.
Despite the fact, man, the Vikings kind of have been turning around recently. Now, obviously, for those who have not seen my video, is the Jets and the Eagles. I did a preview video on the Eagles and the Jets series. So I mean, I think I'm only going to go with the Eagles with this one.
I might have to go with the Eagles too, but news did drop today that Jalen Hurts will not be playing this Sunday.
Yeah. So good old Uncle Rico or Gardner Minshew is going to be starting for the Eagles Sunday at 1:00. So I mean,
that honestly, man could throw a football over them mountains. I'm telling you.
But it's but yeah, I think obviously Zach Wilson. I mean, granted he's a rookie quarterback, but he is just I feel like he's going to be a bust of a quarterback for the Jets because that franchise is just abysmal. Because they got like seven.
It's poorly ran. You get a new head coach because you fired Gase, thinking that's going to help your problems. That didn't help your problem at all.
No, and not to mention too
you made a move trying to draft a quarterback, but he is not a good quarterback.
That's exactly what I said. Like, it's going to take a while for the Jets. I mean, the Jets are not pretty much going to figure out for years to come. Pretty much. I mean, plus not to mention they have like 7 guys are like questionable or doubtful or pretty much going to be out against in the game. So I mean, Sheldon Rank is going to be out for the Jets, and pretty much like 6 others. I think the Eagles are going to improve to 6-7.
Now, Rob, I got a question for you.
Shoot.
Is 9 wins enough to win the division this year?
Is 9 wins enough to win the division?
Yeah.
I think so, because I'll say this too, like, because I mean there was only one time that I can remember that we did win the division with 9 wins. So I mean it is possible to win the division with 9 wins. It is very possible. But yeah, so now we go to the St. Louis wrong Cardinals. Oh my God, the Arizona Cardinals. Oh Lord. Wow. Okay, I apologize. My brain had a brain fart. We got the Arizona Cardinals against the 4-7 Chicago.
What did you say? I was talking, Mom.
Oh, I kind of made a little blunder. I almost called the Arizona Cardinals the St. Louis Cardinals. I was like, God damn it. But yeah, we got the Arizona Cardinals
who are struggling here. Oh, there we go.
But yeah, so we got
it took me. I'm pressing the damn camera icon like a maniac, trying to turn that shit on.
Yeah. Oh shit.
And I'm small.
You don't screw
We're already fucking up.
Oh yeah. So
that's all right.
But yeah, so we got the 9-2 Cardinals against the 4-7 Bears, which I think
that's an easy win.
Well, it's the Cardinals, man.
It's an easy dub It's an easy W for the Cardinals. The Bears are a poorly ran franchise.
Yeah,
their coach is a piece of shit.
Gooley, I apologize. Gooley, if you're watching this, I'm apologizes. But then again, we kind of share the sentiment. You know, we know
it's parallel. Our season and their season is kind of parallel.
Oh
we drove a coach out of town after making the playoffs.
Threw a rookie quarterback into the fire.
We missed the playoffs because of it. And yeah.
Yeah.
We drove a quarterback out of town knowing damn well we had other problems on the team.
But then we realized it was not the quarterback's problem. It was mostly the
offensive line and the receivers.
And plus the front office defense. Too.
And the poorly ran front office. You guys are going through the same issues. Because Trubisky, he's not a bad quarterback.
No, not at all. I mean,
is he among the elite? No, but he's not bad.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing too with Trubisky too. Like, yeah, people say he might be a bust, but he actually had a decent production during his time with the Bears.
Dude made playoffs 2 times
under
Trubisky, which is years under Trubisky. You drove him out of town after one bad season, which wasn't entirely his fault.
Because honestly,
you draft a quarterback who is hit or miss,
and we saw that. But we're
seeing it in Philly. We're seeing that in Philly with Hurts. Hurts is, you can look at his numbers and say he's good. He is good this year, but there's been some games where it's like, what's going on with the guy?
Ben Trubisky is now with the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, he got traded to the Bills. He got traded to the Bills for a pick so they can draft Fields.
Yeah, I think that was the draft. That was the draft pick to get Justin Fields. Which
and
this is the thing too. It's like, and Gould kind of said this too. It's like, if the Bears really do need to make changes, and especially mostly in the front office, because Brian Pace, their GM, is not doing much favors for the Bears. Because I mean, you got a good potential franchise quarterback in Justin Fields, but the problem is, like, you got to fix that. Their defense needs to be worked, needs to be tweaked.
Yeah, for sure.
That's just sure. I mean, the only guy that actually has been consistent for them is Khalil Mack, but ever since he went down, I mean, that just really made their defense went to shit, basically. Then obviously, Cardinals obviously holding the number 1 seed because the way that the record is. But yeah, I think this is going to be a 2-score game.
I think it's going to be worse than a 2-score game. That's my take. That's how poorly ran the Bears team is.
I mean, and at times we have seen it and then sometimes, but then again, this year we've been seeing a lot of game-winning field goals, and that's kind of been the Bears and I mean, it's not just the Bears, but any other teams too. Like we've seen Justin Tucker kick a walk-off field goal from 66 yards, which is now the new record, if I'm not mistaken. The Raiders won by a field goal over Dallas. But yeah, that's kind of like a common theme in the NFL.
42. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
man.
I'm thinking
it's going to be like 42-14 or something, because it's going to be ugly.
Oh, it's going to be super ugly, and I feel bad for Bears fans. I truly do. Oh. Like you guys do not deserve this.
You don't.
Y'all don't. Let me rephrase. I feel like that came out the wrong way, the way that I said it. But I mean, your team should not be as deserved, because like the fact that you potentially ruined, God forbid, if you pretty much, all I'm saying is, please do not ruin Justin Fields, because that's going to make your life, that team,
it's going to make it even worse. It's going to make it even worse, because you ruined Trubisky. You drove him out of town. Now he's killing it. He's killing it in Buffalo as a backup.
Yeah, and with Josh, and it's like because and that's the thing too. Is I feel like the Bills are putting Trubisky in a place to succeed, rather as where the Bears
they didn't put him in any place. They didn't put him in any place to succeed there.
And it's just like I don't think, and that's another thing too. Like their head coaching is questionable. I mean,
there's been some questionable play calls in games that I've seen with the Bears this year. It's
just like we gotta see what the Bears are gonna, hopefully, fingers crossed for the Bears to do. But now we go to the 6-5 Chargers and the 7-4 Cincinnati Bengals. I think this is going to be a good game, though, between these two teams.
It's going to be a good game. Both teams have something to play for. The Chargers are going to play to stay over 500, stay in the playoff hunt. The Bengals are trying to stay in the playoff hunt and make the playoffs for the first time in a few years.
Oh yeah, and the fact that, and that's another thing too. And we kind of touched about this too, about the Bengals too. When they're healthy, that's a dangerous team, especially their offensive line. Like, and look, yes, I kind of understand why they kind of bashed, the Bengals, getting a while. But then again, that was also kind of, they also need another. They didn't even have a number one guy because John Ross was a bust. They got rid of him out of town, which was deserved. You got, AJ Green was a pretty decent one for them, but he left. But now, we're seeing what Jamar Chase can prove. Obviously with Jamar Chase and Burrow, we all know that's a dangerous combo, even when they're time at LSU. But I kind of feel like if they can build off of this for the next how many years for this team. I'm gonna feel like this is going to be a very close game between the two. I think it's going to be maybe 10. I think 10 points is going to be the closest I can say between these two teams, because these are like high scoring offense, because they know how to put points on the board.
Rob, I'll be back.
All right. Let's get this going. But yeah, so obviously with my buddy. So before we go any further, so what do you guys' score prediction between the Bengals and the Chargers? Hey, man. Let us know, man. We will love to really talk about, the score prediction between the two. Okay, Bengals? Okay. That's what me and my buddy Tyler said. We got. It's tough though, man, because they both are good teams. Because of Jake Silva, I like the Chargers because then again, 31. Okay, that's very close. 30. Okay, okay, by a field goal. Okay, it's just like, and that's the thing too. It's like, and obviously, we did talk about the Bears a lot in the past episodes, and even my buddy Gooley on the Spotlight Sports Network, he loved Chicago sports. Obviously, the Bears, the way that team's going right now, I mean, that's kind of like a pit of. I mean, I really don't see him don't want to see him in a pit of misery, but I mean, his Blackhawks are doing well. His Chicago Bulls are doing okay. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, like we said, they got some questionable head coaching out in Chicago. I mean, it's just like it is crazy to really understand. Oh, I don't know, but it's kind of iffy over there in the Windy City. I mean, despite the fact you got pretty much what I mean, you got two baseball teams, you got a hockey team over there, basketball, and a football team that, God forbid, they need new ownership and a better GM, in my honest opinion. But yeah, it's kind of what we're really set up to do, basically. But now we go to the Buccaneers, and who are 8-3 against the 5-6 Atlanta Falcons. So obviously, when my buddy Tyler comes back, we're both going to say the Buccaneers, because here's the thing about the Bucs, man. Despite they have like a meh kind of defense, and the fact that Antonio Brown is now suspended because of a fake, yeah, Bucs all the way. Yeah, I mean, just think about this. This is Atlanta, man. Matt Ryan still is not the good quarterback he used to be. I mean, Calvin Ridley is now out in depth, took a leave of absence this season, so basically he kind of opted out because for personal reasons, which is understandable. Who knows what he's going through. I mean, we saw, and that's the thing too. Like, we saw that with really. I mean, that's kind of okay.
No,
but yeah,
good.
Sorry about that. See, that's the thing to like. Look, I mean, obviously it's Tom Brady that's leading the Bucs. I mean, you still got Leonard Fournette, Gronk. I mean, that team's pretty much been good.
Sorry, I had an emergency.
No worries. So the next game we're on to is the 8-3 Buccaneers and the 5-6 Atlanta Falcons.
The Buccaneers all day.
Yeah, that's what Ben and my buddy.
Here's my reasoning. The Falcons are in a tailspin.
I mean, isn't it obvious? I mean, they're not going to live down that. Think about it this way: they still will never live down that 28-3 choke in the Super Bowl.
28-3.
They're still going to be mean to that for years to come. Like, and that's another thing too. How the fuck do you choke that kind of a lead away? But then and this thing about the Bucs is too, like, yeah, I mean, you got Bruce Arians at the helm running that team, but I think that team's really well stacked on both ends. Obviously, I mean, it's still Tom freaking Brady, right? Guy going to try to go into what's he almost? God, almost. Who knows, man? This
literally 20 years ago was his NFL debut. 20.
You guys, I mean, that is crazy though.
20 damn years he's been in the league.
Who knows, man? If this guy can play to 50, I'll be impressed.
I wouldn't even be shocked if he played till 50. I would not be shocked.
I would be impressive, and that's the thing.
It would be impressive, but it wouldn't be shocking.
Nah.
If you're up 28-3 in the Super Bowl, all you should focus on is running the ball, running the clock out. Exactly. And they were in field goal range too. All they really had to do was run the ball, run that clock out. What did they do? Call pass play. Matt Ryan gets sacked out of field goal range, and they just fucked it up from there.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much this. But yeah, so, shit. Hang on. Oh, Lordy. God damn it! I unplugged my mic.
I could still hear you anyway.
Yeah, I unplugged the cord part of my mic.
That happened.
But I feel like this is going to be like you said, the Falcons are in the tailspin. Matt Ryan needs to know when to hang it up.
Matt Ryan, I think he's gonna go.
I mean, you got to and still this, even though I know the draft has been long gone, I will still never will understand why take a tight end in the first round, like where you could address your needs in the first. Like I
really
get it, Kyle Pitts is probably one of those transcendent tight ends you could probably have, but I kind of feel like you could take at least second tight end in the second or third round. But I mean, also you got Calvin Ridley, still a good wide receiver, but opted out for personal reasons, which, to be honest, I'll be under.
Oh, by the way, I love seeing that Howard jersey.
Yeah.
He's one. If he's not in the Hall this year, it'll be a crime.
Him and Jimmy Rollins are on the Hall of Fame ballot.
I know, actually. But if they're not in the Hall of Fame, if they don't get voted in, there's gonna be some problems. Because I know we didn't have a great second half of his career, but that first half, was that dude something special?
Yeah, think about it this way: his second season, hitting over 50 bombs. Like the last person ever to do that was the great Mike Schmidt. And I felt like watching that season. Every at bat was a homer. That's what I felt like. Every time he was up to bat, you knew, sure, homer. Yeah, because it's like there's a certain energy that he brings in that vibe. Like it's just like sometimes, and I cannot count how many times he's been intentionally walked because a lot of teams were scared.
People were like, nah, about like 2010, 2011, and then the play dropped, and they never weren't scared of him anymore.
But then again, it's also I kind of feel like also the Achilles tear was a factor into his decline.
It was, but I feel like he was declining before that. Yeah, that injury just made the decline just
made it worse.
It made it rapid, and it just went down.
But I mean, and then you got J-Roll. That's gonna be another crime if he doesn't get in.
If this motherfucker didn't get in, no people. The voters are blind if J-Roll didn't get in. Voters are blind.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. It's like, and that's but yeah, I mean, we could probably go on about that because we got a few other games about that.
Few games.
I'm going to say this is going to be. I guess I could say this is a blowout between the Bucs and the Falcons.
Yeah. All right. Next game.
2-9 Jags against a 7-4 Los Angeles Rams.
All right. I would say the Rams easy, but the way the last 3 games have been for the Rams, I don't know.
It's a huge
I have no idea because the Rams, ever since they bolstered the defense further, and they got OBJ. They just I don't know what happened.
Like they just like disappeared, and obviously, lots of blowout games this week.
This one may shock you. This may be close.
Yeah, I mean, we see the fact that the Jags only put up 9 points against the stacked Buffalo Bills, like it scratches. Like that's a head scratcher to me. So you won by 3 over the dominate Buffalo Bills. If you're the 2-9 Jacksonville Jaguars, and look, I think, and I know people don't like. No, I mean, what's going on around down there in Duval County, but I kind of feel like if they can get things on the right path, who knows how good that team's going to be. But for right now, I mean, it's just like, they really do need to step it up. I'm going. That's going to be a tough one to say.
Yeah, but the Rams being in a tailspin and Jags being the Jags, we don't know.
Yeah, we really don't have a definite answer for that.
No.
Next game, we got the 5-6 Washington football team against the 6-5 LA Raiders. The Las Vegas Raiders. Holy shit!
I'm going to have to say the Raiders because the Raiders versus the NFC East have been pretty damn good this year.
Yeah, and obviously, I mean, they ran all. I mean, they ran all over us with the running game.
Mm-hmm. They beat, albeit narrow. They beat the Cowboys on Thanksgiving. They beat them on Thanksgiving.
But then again, Dallas doesn't do well in Thanksgiving games. So, I mean, that kind of really does.
They've never done well. They're like 1-3 or 1-2.
They're 2-6 on Thanksgiving games.
Oh yeah, they're bad on Thanksgiving. They should just revoke their Thanksgiving rights just by that.
Washington, because this is going to be the first time we're going to see how the Raiders. But then again, we got Derek Carr, who's been. The fact that he's already up there with like the yardage that he's put up, especially second to Tom Brady, kind of does speak volumes though for a guy.
We're talking. Yeah, here's the thing: we're talking about a guy who threw 30 touchdowns one season.
That's true as well.
That was in 2016 when he threw for like 30 touchdowns. It was like, damn.
Yeah, and the fact, and even since coming to the Raiders, man, he's been kind of slowly. He was slowly getting better, and then we're seeing it. And I wouldn't be surprised if he got some MVP considerations the way that he's been playing. Because
definitely.
I mean, you got honestly, I mean, God, the fact that you have Deshaun Jackson and Jackson still does what he does against the
This man burnt fucking Dallas to a crisp on the first damn play of the game.
Yeah, at 35 though, it's crazy that at 35 years old, and there's a lot. There's some players in certain teams that obviously we got Boston Scott and the Giants. We all know how the tradition of that. The fact that, I don't know. There's something I don't know what it is about Jackson and the Cowboys that just kind of really just makes Jackson like a really. The fact that you can like throw it.
Yo, I'll be back again, bro.
Alrighty, well, yeah, like we said, I kind of feel like that's the thing too. Is like without Chase Young for the Washington defense, I think the Raiders are going to expose that. I mean, I think a lot of teams are trying. Apologies for that. Have tried to expose the Washington defense. I mean, obviously Chase Young, and that's another thing too. It's like I don't know how this. And you got to think too, like remember last year, like Washington's defense was really good, and then all of a sudden it takes a left turn, just out of nowhere. But then again, we've seen, they got a good head coach in Ron Rivera. I mean, it could have been, obviously, but yeah. So honestly, I think all of us are going to say Raiders for this one, but. Obviously, my buddy Hammer and Darren, who are huge Raiders fans, sometimes they do have a different look on the Raiders because of how they are run over there in Las Vegas, especially with a lot of the controversy that was going on over there. Obviously, with the Henry Ruggs situation, that is very true. I mean, that is very true. That is very true, and then and it's just kind of feel like the Washington defense, and that's another thing too. I mean, they're decent to an extent without Chase Young, which is kind of insane too. It's like if you have your best young edge rusher, hurt. I mean, it kind of just really does speak volumes to that. But I kind of feel like and going back to the Raiders though, I mean. And it's just like, obviously having Deshaun Jackson over there, obviously a California native, which is obviously they're in Nevada, but, I mean, what he did against the Cowboys, man, look, and that's the thing too, like, I really can never hate Deshaun Jackson, as a Birds fan. I really can't. Because, like, Deshaun Jackson, and this is the thing too, like, he's still going to be a great player for a guy of his age, but the problem is though, like he's gonna like the only issue that we kind of ran into with him is just he has a hard time staying healthy. But yeah, I mean, see, I feel and I'm gonna like we said, Raiders.
Yeah, dude, I think you're gonna have to sell those cards because
if you don't have any art, Yeah, and that's another thing too. It's like I do feel bad for Raiders fans, too. I really do because it's
they have like this top tier talent, and then the talent itself
and just throw it away.
You have a DUI, then you have
you have the guy threatening from what I've heard, the threat from what this may not be true, but from what I've heard, it was a young kid that Arnett threatened through Instagram messages. So that kind of just really plays into the fact it's like, and then you have their ex head coach. They cannot get away from it. And I just feel like I think relocating to Las Vegas, I kind of feel like it was a bad idea because it's like, when you're going to Las Vegas, probably the top gambling city in the world here in the United States. I mean, it's
a top city. It's a top city for party life.
Yeah, exactly.
So you have that lifestyle.
Yeah, it's pretty much as asking you for trouble, and
it is.
Here we are, basically,
and there's trouble.
But let's move on from that. We got the Baltimore Ravens, who are 8-3 against the 5-1 Pittsburgh Steelers. Oof, that's tough. I'm going to go with the Ravens.
It's not tough. It is not tough at all, man. I'm going with the Ravens too because Ben Roethlisberger
he's way past. Like we all know,
he's
like what, and we all. It's just like, and that's the thing too. This is about like old quarterbacks. They know when their time is coming. We've seen. Drew Brees already knew when it was time. I mean, he already had the idea of, let's say, okay, so maybe this is going to be my last season in football gear. So why not make the most of it? And definitely a Hall of Fame player. Eli, not so much.
Eli, I mean, in a sense, he's kind of 50-50 with me. There's some things that he has numbers wise that you can make a case for. But championships wise, you can make a case for.
But then again, I mean,
then again, the last few seasons that he had were kind of shit. But
yeah, and not to mention too, he's also lived into Peyton's shadow. So I mean, that's another like. But
the thing is, Peyton's got the same number of rings as his brother has.
That's true as well.
So, who's really living under their shadow? They're both matched up with Peyton throwing a little bit better, but
yeah, and that's
accolades wise, they've been
kind of similar. But he's got a thing too. Like I remember Peyton Manning. I remember the Colts when they were super horrendous, and Peyton Manning was shocking to say. I mean, if
this man threw for like 30 interceptions, it's like holy shit.
Yeah, and that was just his rookie year. And then
the second season, he just turns it around for like
it's like
better part of the whole fucking 2 decades, and it's like oh shit.
Yeah, and this is why I think rookie quarterbacks need to take a look of what Peyton Manning had to go through. Obviously,
that's the thing. That's the thing, and I agree with there was somebody who said that. Like, remember, Peyton Manning had like 30 interceptions his rookie year, and look how his career turned out.
Yeah, and the whole
I think people. What I don't like, and this comes to Philly fans too. You gotta remember, people like Jalen Hurts, people like Justin Fields, they haven't started a full 16, 17 games.
This was like the very first full season of Hurts because you got to think too. Like the year before, prior to that, it was a short sample size for what Hurts can do. Can he improve on it? I believe he can. I feel like he's going to really.
I feel like he can too. Like he needs to learn how to read coverages better. Because you have people who are wide open here. He's looking over here.
Because you got someone like Goddard who's been a good. Well, I mean, obviously, a good backup to when Zach Ertz was here. But I feel like Goddard is after learning through Zach Ertz, kind of picking Ertz's brain as a tight end. I think it's really been shown, despite,
and what I like about Goddard too, he takes it a step further. What Ertz did, he would catch the ball, but he would not run.
And oh yeah, that's very true. I mean, because think about this too. Ertz was only good for short, like the screen passes, for the short yardage.
He was only good for the screens and maybe the end zone.
Something like that, like red zone plays.
Yeah,
and then we're seeing what Goddard can do. I mean, obviously with some little bit of speed, and we've seen that too. It's like, and then obviously Devontae Smith too. That's another guy you got to need to get him and Quez Watkins. If you can get those two involved a lot more, look out.
I feel like Quez is a bust.
How so?
He's dropping too many fucking passes, bro.
Man, can't.
I'll be back, man.
Alrighty. Well, I should have you stop by, Ben. It really does really mean appreciated too. Like, but yes. So, but yeah, they share this. Once my buddy comes back, we're gonna. Obviously, we got 2 more games. Actually, I'm sorry, we got 3 more games to cover. And then we got a lot of other topics we have here on for today's agenda. Oh, that's the wrong thing. Wrong piece. But yeah, I mean, and that's the thing too. Is like the thing about us is like obviously we're huge Birds fans, and we kind of were seeing some and like we mentioned before, like when we talk about the Chicago Bears, how poor they've been run. The fact that we are seeing similarities, throwing rookie quarterbacks into the fire, without proper development. We are really seeing that on firsthand, so to speak. But yeah. But yeah, man. Oh, well, yeah. I mean, obviously, and that's the thing too about us. Like before, I lost my train of thought. The thing about us Birds fans, we are very critical of the way because over here because Philadelphia, we have of way of we have expectations. If you don't meet the expectations, you're there. We're gonna let that be known. But yeah, so um, but yeah, well, before we go any further, buddy, if you are new to this channel, make sure you hit the like button on the stream. It does go a long way to help show support. Make sure you hit the subscribe button down below with the notifications on, so you guys would not be missing podcasts like these podcast episodes like these. Also my other podcast series, which is linked in the description down below, Between the Lines podcast, which is all MLB and all MLB podcasts. So go check it out. We're gonna be holding it this Friday, or the Friday, December 10th at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So stay tuned for that. Also, check out if you guys have not, like we mentioned before, about the Eagles and Jets. If you have not checked out my preview video, I had to recommend you go check that out when you guys can after this episode. But yeah, we're on the road to 230 subs. I'll be honest, it is kind of, but yeah. Alrighty.
Ew.
Oh, you. So we have 3 games left for this week. So at 4:25, we have the 6-5 49ers against the 3-8 Seattle Seahawks. I'm going to go with the Niners. I'm
49ers.
going to the Niners.
The Seahawks are on the downturn.
It's just a disgusting downturn, and I kind of feel bad for Dufeld. Man, the fact that you're really, I do feel bad.
Here's the thing: they need to trade Russell Wilson because he doesn't deserve to be on a team that's on the downturn.
That's because it's like, and like think about it this way, man. The Seahawks, he has had great players in the past. Marshawn Lynch, Cam Chancellor, like the Legion of Boom, like that team's it's just like that team's down in the dust. Obviously, you still got, Pete Carroll is an iffy head coach, to say, in my honest opinion. But it's just like, yeah, and the fact that it's like, I think any other team who needs a quarterback can use someone like Wilson. It's just like I just don't like. Oh, but yeah. Yeah. So me and my buddy, we are going with the 49ers. Over the Seahawks, because no, the Seahawks are it's just a bad team. You know, also like we said, or like my buddy Tyler said, Wilson does not deserve to be on a team that's absolute trash. The way that that team is comprised, but
yeah.
And then we go to the first late game of week 13 or second, first of the two late games on week 13. We got the 6-5 Broncos against the 7-4 Kansas City Chiefs.
I'm gonna have to go with the Broncos here.
Yeah, I mean, and look, I mean, Broncos they're a decent team to say the least, but I mean, they got some good players on that team. I mean, Teddy Bridgewater, like we said before, he is not the answer for them, but he has done a decent job, being their starter for this year. I mean, I think they also they're giving him like another year if I'm not mistaken. But I mean, look, I mean, Teddy Bridgewater.
I think they gave him a 1-year extension.
And that's the thing too, like Bridgewater is not that bad of a quarterback too. I mean, he's good for the deep ball. I mean, it's just there's a lot of things that Denver needs to do to really kind of fix that team up. I mean, if they're lucky, man, I mean, they could. If I'm not mistaken, I think there might be a hole in a wild card a wild card spot. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think at this point they're going to get the wild card. That's what I think.
Yeah, and then we have the last game at 8:15. We got the 8-4 Patriots versus the 7-4 Bills. I'm going to go with the Patriots on this one because
I'm going to go with the Patriots too. I mean, they've been on
Mac Jones
since starting the season 2-4 and going and turning around the way they did. They deserve.
Yeah, especially under Mac Jones too. I mean, the fact that he's outperforming these other rookie quarterbacks. I mean, and take it from me, I was very doubtful of the picks. Like he's going to be like another project quarterback, but the way that I've seen Mac Jones kind of just blossom into the quarterback he's now is like, man, I am dead wrong about him being a developmental quarterback. But yeah, I mean, so far right now, that's the end of our week 13 kind of expectations. I mean,
on my phone, man.
Oh yeah, my buddy Tyler's having a little camera issues, so bear with us for just a moment.
No, I don't have any camera issues. I'm in the bathroom right now, so I had to turn the camera off.
Oh, okay. Then we go to the next thing on the agenda is Carl. Oh, this kind of really kind of triggers me a little bit. Carlos Correa bashing Derek Jeter and his 5 Gold Gloves. I mean, this is another thing too. Is like, look, I know. I mean, Correa has won a Gold Glove and a Platinum Glove. Look, I get it, but the fact you're coming out a Hall of Famer, you must be out of your mind if you have the balls to say he is overrated. That's kind of what he said.
Yeah, look, he has enough gumption to freaking say that, but the thing with that is that let's say you win multiple championships, which you couldn't do. You won like 1 championship.
Yeah, it's like, and now you decided not to sign back to the team that actually developed that you actually were great for. But then again, I mean, it's just like there's like certain players that like, I mean, that kind of ties into this one about Marcus Stroman. Is he overrated? I think he is to a certain extent. I think he's still a good pitcher in his own right, but his antics, is kind of, I feel like this kind of where it kind of puts him in the overrated category. I think he's now obviously being with the Chicago Cubs on a 3-year, $71 million deal. I think, and I'll be honest with you, despite him being overrated, I think he's still a good pitcher in his own right, in my honest opinion.
He is.
Yeah, it's just like, obviously we all heard about where Justin Verlander has gone back to the Astros, so we don't want to go over that. That kind of ties into, obviously, that kind of ties into number 6 on the topics list. Let's kind of talk about the lockout, though, which is kind of ridiculous. Like, you have some of these outstanding free agents, and honestly, that kind of ties into number 7. I mean, and this is the guy you really cannot hate, and that's Freddie Freeman. And if you guys have not watched my video, I did make a video on where will he sign after the lockout. There's two. I mean, I feel like there's going to be some few teams that might be. I feel like there's going to be only 3 teams that could be a potential. I mean, candidates for Freddie Freeman. I mean, I feel like Dodgers are probably going to be like the number 1 team because I know they can actually spend a ton of money. I said Yankees were 2 and the Braves were 3. And the reason why I put Braves 3, because I know they have a ton of money invested in their young players like Acuna, who they're paying $100 million, I think, for over 8 years. I think that was his contract extension. I mean, you still got Austin Riley, who's been kind of pretty good over there. But yeah, let me get your thoughts on that.
Listen, the whole thing with the lockout, it's getting to that point where it's like, okay, are you kidding me? Because if you read the CBA, if you know what the CBA was consisting of going into this lockout, it's bullshit. Honestly.
It is.
Because you're fighting over this whole juice ball thing that's been going on, this whole conspiracy about the balls being juiced so they go farther and they go higher and all this other shit. And you weren't talking about juice balls in the 90s.
No.
And that ball was going out of the field left and right.
And not to mention, too, I think also part of the lockout is from what I saw from the Players Association, they're also kind of coming at Manfred for not being for the players. And I did make a video, kind of saying that. And they also kind of claimed that, and they've seen MLB getting caught with using 2 different types of baseballs. So, I mean, there's a lot of other things that's been going on. So, I mean, I really hope this lockout is going to be resolved. But I think, and, for what I've been heard, I mean, the one thing that was kind of were in discussion was the universal DH in the CBA. Plus also like these other stuff like to really help, minor leaguers, improve the minor leaguers, these young players in the minor leagues, have better, better pay, their housing. Another thing too is just and it's just and I kind of say this too, like, if you can't, talk to your team, like, what's the, that's going to be tough. I mean, it's like, that's, I mean,
the thing is, the people can't talk to their team. A lot of the free agents don't know where the hell they're going to go because, of course, a lot of
can't sign
everything on hold, put everything on hold, and they can't talk to their trainers. They can't talk to their, former team.
And we're seeing it.
And right now, it's just like it's a mess at this point.
It's a huge mess. And the fact that Freddie Freeman has not signed anywhere, which is, I'll be honest, man, it's like the fact that the Braves are let him walk in free agency is very shocking to me. I would have thought, it's like the fact that he's a 2020 MVP, multiple time Gold Glove winner, a World Series champion. What has this guy has not accomplished? This guy has accomplished.
You would think after the World Series this year, you would re-sign the guy because he was a cornerstone to your first championships since '95. Like you come on.
Definitely, it's just like, and not to mention he's been there with Atlanta for 12 years, and the fact that you let him walk, like, I mean, like we said before, like Atlanta is screwed if they do not if they lose him to a different team, which I wouldn't
say they're screwed. I think they'll be good, but not great to be champions.
Yeah,
like in a sense they're only losing one piece of the puzzle.
Oh yeah, but
they're not losing 5, 6, 7 pieces where they have to blow up the team and rebuild again. They're losing one piece,
and a great defensive piece at that too.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just like I feel like, and again, it's just like, it's like, and it still annoys me. It's just like, yes, I get it. He's part of our division in the division rival, but like I said before, like you cannot hate Freddie Freeman, especially him and Rizzo are pretty much. Yeah, I mean, you can pretty much. I mean, those two are pretty much just the antics that they pull. It's just way too fun.
Yeah. What's next on the list, brother?
Let's talk about. Let's give our reactions to the award, the MLB awards this year.
I think we're reeling. I don't know if people are still reeling about it, but we will talk about it.
Oh yeah.
First thing is NL and AL MVP. Bryce Harper is the NL MVP, and Shohei Ohtani is the AL MVP.
Yeah, and this is the thing, just like when I saw Ohtani's like, but then again, I'm not really surprised that he got and
the man killed it as a pitcher and a hitter. That has not been seen in over 100 freaking years.
Yeah, like, and in the day and age where and the fact that the American League, the fact that he could also hit as he's like the American League, and this is the thing too, like the Major League, like you either pitch or you hit. Like, you can't do both. But again, I mean, Ohtani has done it throughout his entire career. I mean, it's really not that surprising. But the fact that he has got it unanimously, which the last person from what I remember that has done that was Jose Abreu with the Chicago White Sox. That's the only last player that I remember getting a unanimous vote for MVP. And Harper, I mean, really, that's you pretty much would just give him the MVP anyways because of the numbers he's been.
Like, here you go. Like mid-season, everybody knew he was going to be MVP, and
the fact that you. I mean,
and then you get Mike Schmidt to give him the award. Like,
can you not drop in your more? Like, that's pretty much a hit in itself. Like, who that was going to.
Like that was more obvious than not. It's like, yeah, it's gonna be Harper.
Oh yeah, and then we get the NL Cy Young and Corbin Burns, and who's the AL Cy Young? Oh, Robbie Ray. Robbie Ray winning the AL Cy Young is very surprising to me. Because it's like, and I get it. He kind of did turn it around when he was with Toronto. Now with what the fuck? I forgot where he signed. It's really starting to annoy the crap out of me.
I forgot what Corbin Burns is too.
Corbin Burns is with the Brewers, but the fact that, and this is the thing too. I think it was kind of considering making the video about changing the way how the Cy Young voting, because they're kind of just going off like the traditional statistics where everything is no more heavily analytical. I mean, you got all the I don't want to get into details of it, but the fact of the matter is, obviously it should have been Wheeler because Wheeler had a lot more stuff to prove. But I mean, I don't know, man. But Robbie Ray, I mean, congrats to Robbie Ray, though, man. Kind of turning around after being part of a Diamondbacks team that was kind of on the downturn, and now, but yeah, I mean, next thing, we're kind of got to fly. Now, there's other things too, like kind of talking, like there's a few signings that I want to try to at least add to this. Like, what do you think about Javier Baez signing with the Detroit Tigers?
I don't know, because Javier Baez did not have a good year last year at all. And Detroit's not a good team. Haven't been for years.
When was the last time was it 2006, 2013?
It was like 2006 to like 2012, 2013-ish.
Yeah, because I remember that's the only time when they actually reached the World Series. I think World Series was under Dombrowski, if I'm not mistaken.
2006 to 2013, it was under Dombrowski. He turned that franchise around, and then Dombrowski left for Boston. So,
and not to mention too, and there's got to think too, like Detroit, you have a bright future because you got a lot of good prospects are coming up. You got Spencer Torkelson, who's been great, coming out of college. I mean, Casey Mize, kind of could be a potential ace. You got, Tarek Skubal been pretty good for them. I mean, the only issue their shortstops that they had this past year. I mean, like you said, yeah, he did not have the greatest year, and neither did the Tigers shortstop. I don't know who his name. I think he had an even worse year than Baez. So I mean, and I kind of said this too. The only thing Baez needs to work on is his patience and discipline. If he can work on both of those things, you're pretty much getting a good all-around player, good five-tool player. And then You have other ones like Jan Gomes going to the Cubs. And then same with Marcus Stroman too. So you got those two going to the Cubs on separate deals. I just kind of feel like, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the Cubs are. I don't know what the direction the Cubs are going to be in. You know,
I don't either, man.
I mean, just kind of want to talk about those kind of few signings. Like that kind of goes into the next one. Do you think? Actually, there's another thing too. Another signing I think we should at least. I mean, I did make a video about this, but I'm kind of go more in depth to it. Corey Knebel. I mean, going to be in Phillies pinstripes, man.
I kind of like that move. There's a lot of, and I'm gonna rant about this. I've been wanting to rant about this for like a week after this happened.
Oh yeah,
you fans are so picky.
Or actually, in better terms, they're fickle.
They're so freaking picky, dude. Like, oh, we want this guy. If he's not this guy, he's a bum.
Yes, and the thing about it is, man, we've been tied to Corey Knebel this past all season. So I mean, it's really not that surprising that.
No, and the thing is, Rob, he's not a bad pitcher.
And yeah, I mean, obviously, 20, and like, and the guy can still get it up there in the upper 90s too at 30 years old. Though that's the thing, obviously pitching the postseason with the Dodgers. I mean, really does kind of really, and the fact that he finished the year with a 2.54 ERA. Or 4.5 ERA, I should say. It's like, I mean, that's the thing too. And we kind of said, like, and we said this too. Like, this is all. Look, Don Bradstreet is doing what he can, and we're going to say that for as long as till the cows come home, because this is all. This is Milton. Milton is letting him spend the money, but the problem is though, and I think, God, what is our payroll now? I think not even almost 200.
Yeah. Good. You're frozen, dude, and you're not talking.
Oh, Lord.
Dude, what just happened?
My Wi-Fi cut out just all of a sudden.
Like, it was just like, for like a split, like a good minute.
Yeah, so at least I know what you're... But yeah, so I mean, like we said before, part of the technical difficulties that Wi-Fi cut out. But there's like we said too, so we're going to say this till the cows come home. I mean, I feel like, and right now, no owner right now can't do anything, obviously, with the lockout that's going on. And here, and like my buddy Tyler said, we are very, and this thing, like, and I said, and I made a better about this too, like, we're so divided, like, but it's like,
it's not like we're divided. We're not divided. There's no division. Every fan that I've seen on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, they're bashing the Phillies for getting Knebel. And they're bashing them. They are bashing him. Oh, he's a bottom of the barrel pitcher. Oh, he's not Kimbrel. Like, are you kidding me?
And this is the thing too, like Kimbrel, like if you want to get Kimbrel, but you're asking for his asking price is still high.
Dude,
after coming off
the only way you're gonna get Kimbrel if you meet the playoffs.
Yeah,
and the only fucking way you're getting Kimbrel. So deal with Knebel and be done with it. And if he's terrible this year, you can cut your losses.
Oh yeah, and like I said too, like we have the 5th highest payroll in baseball, but the problem is that and I know we're kind of beating around the dead horse with this one because like Milton, because like Don, and like I said before getting cut out, Don Bradstreet is doing what he can with the limited money that Middleton's let him to spend, since obviously you get having the 5th highest payroll in baseball, and the fact that you're so afraid to not pay, go over the tax threshold. I mean, come on, like give us a break here.
Yeah.
Like you guys see the bigger picture here. But I mean, but other than that, that kind of ties into our last one. And obviously, it's about the New York Mets, and from what I've been hearing, they're getting tied to Buck Showalter to be their in their manager search.
I kind of like that move, but in a way, I don't know.
I mean, I don't know what, because like, and now that their former manager has been hired by the Yankees as a third base coach, that kind of leaves. There's, I don't know, man. I mean, I kind of just feel like they're not. I will say this too. I mean, they were not good. I mean, I think when Terry Collins was there, I mean, they were pretty decent at times under Terry Collins when he was there. And then as soon as they let him go, they kind of feel like they kind of went down the. It was like a downfall for them.
Yeah,
and again, plus also the ownership too. The Wilpons were kind of scummy. So I mean,
people fucking bash the like New York fans do not like the Wilpons. They don't like,
and I think rightfully so.
And I don't blame them. First, they're corrupt. I think they got 10. A few of them got thrown in jail.
And also, from what I remember, from what I also heard, they also got scanned by Bernie Madoff. I remember. Yeah. It's like, yeah, I mean,
that's the thing I'm talking about. The whole Bernie Madoff thing, and I think one of the Wilpons got thrown in jail for it.
Yeah, it's just like
2011 or something.
Yeah, that's very true. It's just like, but now under like new ownership, maybe, and who knows, man. Yeah, the only thing right now they just need is a manager. But I mean, I think that's pretty much.
They need a manager, and they need some quality players to build around.
And that's another thing too. Like, and I'll ask you this: was the Max Scherzer contract an overpay to you in your eyes?
It was massively.
And here's and I think you can agree with this too. I feel like this is going to backfire on the Mets a little bit because, look, I mean, you still got a great pitcher in DeGrom, but the problem is though, how much longer can he stay healthy though? You know, and then you got Scherzer that's on the back half of his career, and then you got some like, I don't know, it's like these random no names like filling up
random no names you can't. Yeah, random no names you can't pitch.
And their bullpen's even worse than ours, which is crazy.
Crazy to think that there's a bullpen worse than ours, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, who knows, man? We're gonna have to see until all this, but the lockout is over. I kind of feel like if Dombrowski getting Knebel is a good first start. Who knows what kind of many more moves he's gonna make in the long to bring in new players in the Philly, but
I think the problem that presents itself is this lockout because we don't know how long it's gonna last. They can't really make any free agency moves. Can't make trades. Can't do nothing. You can't even do business at all in this lockout.
Yeah, like, and this is not us. This is all for all the teams in Major League Baseball. So I mean,
every team, every team is going to have some ground to make up before the season officially starts, whenever that may be.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I really hope, because think about it this way, because we haven't seen this since the 1994, 1995, and the only time they ever did, well, I mean, obviously in the 150 plus year history, I think overall there was only 3 strikes that only happened in Major League Baseball. That was, I think, one of the 70s, one of the 80s, and obviously people would remember, the strike of 1994. Obviously, that was the only time only year in Major League Baseball history the World Series has not been played.
That was the time where the playoffs hadn't been played at all.
Yeah.
The lockout in '94 happened right in the middle of the season.
Yeah, and because obviously it was before our time, but from what we saw and from what we read, like that really screwed things up. Like that was just horrible.
It did. Look at the Phillies, for example. The year before, they were in the World Series,
and we lost to the Baltimore Orioles.
No, they lost the Blue Jays.
Yeah, Orioles. Oh, I'm sorry, the Blue Jays. But yeah,
because remember the Orioles were just as shit as they are now as they were then.
Only exception was that the Orioles actually was in the postseason. What 20? That'd be early 2010s.
No, something like that. 2015-ish.
Because you got to think about, like, oh god, most people you would have remembered Delman Young, that was part of that Orioles team. Adam Jones, Chris
Yeah,
Davis. I kind of still feel
they had a good team for like a year, and then they just bottomed out.
yeah, just I mean, but yeah, I think that's all we got for you guys today. Any final thoughts before we kind of end it here? My guy.
My final thought is, whatever happens in this lockout, I hope for the best for the players, for the staff.
I think for all teams
Also,
in the
to hell with Bob Manfred. He's a piece of shit owner.
Oh, trust me. The fact that you call the World Series trophy a piece of metal, that's still going to leave a sour taste in my motherfucking mouth because that's
why would you call your sports trophy a piece of metal? Like, yeah, it's a piece of metal, but come on,
that has significance to the.
It's got fucking history. That was the start of your damn league.
And it's just like, what are you doing? And the fact that
if you want to call like a championship trophy a piece of metal, I would call the Lombardi Trophy a piece of metal because that had no history. It has some history. Like, it was made in the late '60s, whatever. But it really didn't have any as much of a significance as the NFL championship because that was the NFL start.
Because I got to think too, the Super Bowl didn't start towards the merger in the '60s.
Yeah, it didn't happen until like '69 or whatever.
And yeah, before this.
With the World Series, that's been around since
over 150 years.
Yeah, you got a longer history with that, and it's just messed up that you say it's a piece of metal.
And so, and I'm kind of, and I think so. So you're going to say all the, and I'm not going to say this too, but you're going to say all the Yankees championships that they've won 27 times are piece of metal. Like, I just feel like it's like a huge slap in the face to the game of baseball. It really does.
It is a huge slap in the face, and then and the problem is with this owner has not been owner for that long, and you already have a lockout.
Yeah, because you got him. It got to think too, because I kind of, and that's the thing too, because it was him and the owners that kind of initiated the lockout because it's like it's ridiculous. But until any further developments, we'll touch upon it next week. So I think we pretty much got everything for you guys. But with that out of the way, this is Robert and Tyler from the Philly Sports Talk podcast YouTube channel, and we are out.
Peace.